People have many different reasons for staying in jobs they don't like. Some of those reasons are completely understandable and justified. If you've been watching videos that imply you're a coward for not leaving your unpleasant job, those messages may just be wrong. Plenty of us do cost-benefit analyses and realize that staying in our unpleasant job for at least a little while longer really is our best option. It may be the best option for our family, it may be the best option for our health care, and it may be the best option for our investment portfolio. But if you're going to stay in an unpleasant job for a while longer, how will you cope? This video isn't about changing the job itself. If you can change your job, that's great. But some of us know we have very little control over the things that make our jobs distasteful. So for some of us, focusing on coping strategies makes the most sense. Here's something to consider. Some people might find their job less distressing if they simply spent less time dwelling on the negative information that their job feeds them. Maybe you can't change policies, procedures, or people at your job, but you might be able to change how much time you spend thinking about annoyances. And that could make a huge difference to your well-being. When our minds get stuck on negative information, we feel distressed about that information longer. This sometimes occurs when we know full well that spending more time thinking and talking about negative information produces nothing of value. It just extends our distress. Have you ever found your Friday evening spoiled because your mind was dwelling on something a coworker said or did earlier in the week? If you can relate to that description, then you understand what this video is about. I don't have any helpful ideas about getting our negative thoughts and feelings about unpleasant workplace events down to zero. Getting to zero doesn't sound realistic to me. I assume you're like the rest of us and automatically think and feel negative things when bad stuff happens at work. Trying to control the thoughts and feelings that automatically pop into our minds sounds like a fool's errand. By definition, these automatic thoughts and feelings are out of our control. But I'm aware of things a couple of psychologists have written that might help some of us get unstuck from negative thoughts and feelings about work that endure for longer than necessary. That is, there are habits of mind that some people use to help negative thoughts and feelings about bad events dissipate more quickly. People who skillfully use these habits, it's not that they forget the bad events at work, and it's not that they don't have negative initial reactions. It's just that they don't dwell on negative information that is no longer useful. They don't ruminate. They return to a state of relative relaxation more quickly than others. I'm about to show you a few things a couple of psychologists, Dr. Sally Winston and Dr. Martin Seif, have taught. These things have helped me move on quickly from distressing thoughts and feelings about work. These things haven't changed my job, and they haven't blocked my feelings of annoyance about negative things at work. Instead, they have helped me reduce the number of minutes of my life that I waste thinking about distressing things at work. Okay, here's the first quote from the book that I really like. Thoughts get stuck because you inadvertently fuel them by pushing them away. I hadn't really thought about this much before, but rejecting a thought really engages our mind with that thought. And I would add that not just rejecting or pushing a thought away, but also overanalyzing a thought has a way of getting our mind more fully engaged with that thought. In other words, it greatly increases the chances that our mind gets stuck on this unwanted, distressing information that has entered our minds. Quote number 2, neither thoughts nor feelings are facts. What the authors mean by this is that thoughts and feelings that enter our awareness do not necessarily need to be acted on. Look at quote number 3 here. Entanglement is a major factor in keeping intrusive thoughts going. We don't have to engage most of the thoughts that enter our minds. We have way too many thoughts streaming through our minds to be able to engage or get stuck on the majority of them. So we can pay more attention to how we get entangled with some thoughts and allow those thoughts to get stuck instead of letting those thoughts just briefly pass by. Quote number 4, there are some no-win situations in which any engagement will result in additional entanglement. No matter how obviously they seem, and we're talking about unpleasant thoughts and feelings here, no matter how obviously they seem to call for argument, rejection, or reaction, getting involved is not advised. Overanalyzing an unpleasant thought or rejecting an unpleasant thought just helps our mind get stuck on that thought. As an alternative, the authors suggest an accept and allow approach. So here's quote number 5. Accept and allow means leave the thoughts and feelings alone. Let them do whatever they do. Just observe. In other words, let these thoughts be like the many, many others that enter our minds, pass by only briefly, and then dissipate. This dissipation can meaningfully reduce our overall distress because the negative information doesn't stick in our minds for very long. I hope you found these ideas as useful as I have. Like most videos on the Multicollinearity channel, this one has really been about me reflecting on valuable ideas for my own benefit. Keep in mind that I don't know anything about your unique situation, and you shouldn't take anything in these videos on the Multicollinearity channel as personalized advice. This video can't substitute for the assistance of an ethical, credentialed psychotherapist, if that's what you need. I just found this book quite valuable. It gave me tools for getting my mind unstuck from thoughts about work that are no longer useful, but have a tendency to prolong my negative feelings if my mind gets stuck.